Okay, what did we just watch?
We watched Evil Dead.
Yeah, and this is the first time you'd seen this, right?
Yeah. I don't remember anything about it, so I also don't think I've seen it. Like maybe I don't remember even snippets of that, but boy,
I mean, this is an early '80s film, Evil Dead. This is obviously a movie that a lot of people are probably familiar with or have seen. But just like I'd seen this before, I thought it'd be a good one because we recorded a little long today, and I thought it'd be good to watch a short one that is kind of silly, kind of goofy. If you're kind of talking throughout some of the movie, it doesn't really matter. It's it's a shock and awe kind of movie, very gory, heavy.
Yeah,
but I mean, what did you think of it?
We don't have to go through the plot because it's very much like a trope that you hear.
Bunch of people go camping and they unleash a demonic entity, and it starts taking over everybody that they're together with. I
can't say anything bad about this movie. Like, I think it is so well done, and I hope people thought. I'm sure it's like it's got a little bit of a cheese factor.
Yeah, it's campy. Yeah, for sure.
Campy, but like in the '80s, it might not have been as campy. It would have been like a cool summer flick to take your girlfriend, your boyfriend to, whatever. There is, like, I love that there's no exposition. It's like, go to some creepy house. There's a creepy-ass book. There's a little bit of, like, I guess, exposition with, like, the tape and, like, he's reciting the Necronomicon. And that's when the demon unleashes or whatever. And then after that's like, we're just trying to get out of here, and then bad shit happens.
Yeah, it starts taking over everybody.
And I don't know, like, I just don't know how you could hate a movie like this, because it doesn't have to, it's not, trying to be something it's not. It's not trying to be like, but again, different time era.
Yeah.
I can imagine people just going to see this and be like, wow, that was fucking awesome. Like, and I gotta agree, the practical effects are
unbelievable.
The best I think I've ever seen in any movie.
I mean, it is so unbelievable.
It is like, that is like The Shining. I mean, the story itself isn't even bad either. Like, it's a story that we've heard before, but again, watching movies later in life, like a lot of movies have taken this trope of, like, desperate. I mean, then they add certain things to it. The one critical thing I could just mention too is like the thought with like the necklace, the magnifying glass necklace, like it probably has some like theme of love or like attachment, but other than that, it just kind of feels like a little bit of a red herring.
Yeah.
But again, practical effects, the best.
Amazing. I mean, the stop motion stuff is phenomenal.
Gosh. Why do people stop? I would much rather see that than any computer generated anything.
There's something so uniquely like uncanny about stop motion stuff. Even like when the record player is spinning on its own, and obviously like at the end where the climax is happening, and you've got people, like you got the different people who are like melting into the floorboards. Yeah. It's just. It is incredible. It is so... It is like... I mean, there's a reason this is a cinematic visual effects like masterpiece for a lot of people. It's just so good. And so... It wears everything on its sleeve. It is great. Like, the way that people really like... the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's not really for me. I'm not a big fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is kind of my Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. Like, this is the 80s version, whereas, like, that would be the 70s. This is, like, the 80s Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I was like, you almost can say, like, it's like a modern day, or an old Saw. Like, Saw is, of course, like, big on the gore, but... I even think that like that's a really unfair comparison, because I don't know, like I think the gore is so unbelievably ridiculous that I think it crosses the line of like just it feels a little bit more horrific.
Yeah.
Like, but in a way that's obviously non-human. Like Saw is just like human gore, like
trying to be realistic, grounded.
Yeah, grounded. It almost comes off as just like almost like disgusting.
Yeah, like too like it not being so fantastical is what makes it so off-putting. But this is like
Well, it's like
green slime and like it's like blood and slime and it's
one of the best parts is like Scotty's character and like you see his arm and it looks like we were like commenting. It looks like oatmeal coming out of his arm. It's like, and it's so funny because the previous episode I just talked about. I was a wound nurse and it's just like it is so funny to me to just see how like outrageous someone's like. Let's just make it. Let's just be how crazy could we?
Yeah,
let's just put cottage cheese or whatever.
It's like creamed corn. It's like if it were Twin Peaks, it'd be garment boja. It's like just so disgusting.
Yeah, but it's like so good.
Yeah, and like it's designed to be kind of a yuck fest. But in a way that like I can't really watch like movies like Hostel or something like that where it's like
it's almost like disturbing.
Yeah, it's designed to be realistic, human sort of grounded kind of actual reality gore. But like this leans so much into it's like a parody. And what's really cool is, and we'll watch the other installments of Evil Dead, mainly the second, and what I think is the best one is Army of Darkness is so good. And like the way that what I love about these movies is that when the sequels come out, they lean into the best parts of these movies. Like they could have went in the direction where it's like, what if we did a lot more of the lore and try to be like a highfalutin horror movie, like something that's more even keeled. It's like no, it just keeps on leaning into like what makes it so good. This sort of like almost in the way that Resident Evil does it, where it's like it just keeps getting kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think what it does so well is like it's like a story contained within itself, and you don't have to think very hard to enjoy it. Like you don't have to think about what's going on, what's going to happen. It's just like
if you miss a line, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like you said, like talking, and it doesn't really change much. But I gotta say, I was thoroughly surprised at how much I thought it was going to be a little silly again, like 80s movies, you know. And I think of I can't always forget the name, but. The one with the long fight scene between the two guys.
Oh, yeah. They Live? Or no. Isn't that what it is?
I don't know. It was like the one where it's like Obey,
Yeah. Was that They Live?
I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where he wears the glasses.
Yeah, it's just like it goes a little bit above and beyond it. And you're like spoon-fed all this information and you have to like think about it. And again, those movies are fine. But in this way that it came from the same era, this movie is... let's just see how gross we can make it. Yeah, it's like a movie that doesn't need to spend a lot of time on subtext. It's like forget the subtext. Like let's just do something wild and fun. Yeah. And there's very few times where you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, this whole movie took place in like basically one house." Yeah. And that was it. It was I wonder what obviously the budgets are different, but I'm curious to see how expensive. And honestly, I would almost say that the practical effects probably took a lot of the money because totally, yeah. That again, yeah. My understanding is this launched like the career of Bruce Campbell, who would just continue to grow to be this like horror icon for this particular franchise, just really anchoring it and giving it its like being a huge part of its success. Yeah. And even like horror culture, Yeah. I feel bad that I haven't seen this movie, but it almost helps me appreciate it more now that I can like understand like the horror genre as it is now and then as it was then. Yeah. Yeah. So I think and some of these shots, like this shot looks like from a modern horror film, like the spotlight on her face. Yeah. Like, yeah. The thing I love about a movie like this is how much I think it legitimizes the horror genre. Like in a way that I think that people watched this and it was like an inspiration for practical effects as they are today. Like, not just saying like, oh my gosh, this is super gross. Only horror movies will leverage practical effects to this extent. It's like, without,
to me, it's like without a movie like this, you don't have a movie like, what was the one that we saw, that stop motion one that was built by like one guy
Oh, God.
who did the
Something
giraffe?
God.
Oh yeah, Mad God.
Mad God,
Yeah. Like without a movie like this, like stuff like that just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that this is one of those movies that really pushed movies in general in a direction that wouldn't have been possible without this. And no one would have ever thought it would have come from like some horror movie.
Yeah.
But it's fun, it's silly, it doesn't take itself too seriously. My only complaint, which I mean, sure, I guess you could say it's intentional, is that like there's so many times where you're just like, these demons are just yammering and you're just like, oh my God, shut up, dude.
And like, I guess they're the protags just don't, well, the main one doesn't seem to learn that things, like, it won't die unless you decapitate it or
like dismember
it.
The corpse.
And each time he's like, it's finished. And then he like gets his hand close and it's like, something has to grab him.
Yeah.
You know? And you're like, okay, like we've seen that a few times. Yeah. The one scene where the second girl gets, I guess it was the guy's sister, or no, it was one of the friends. But yeah, it just was like, she just kept moaning and groaning and just like, you could tell the sound is dubbed over
right.
the physical, because obviously no one can keep going that long, but it was like stitched together. And it almost is just kind of like that fight scene that I was saying. It's just like, it's a little too long.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I feel, I don't know, again, like Sam Raimi, the director, probably did that intentionally to just probably like get kids to be like, oh my God, like shut, you know.
Yeah. It's like grating. It is like, like again, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's one of the reasons why I don't really like that movie is you don't really realize how much screaming there is, and it is part of, you think of like a chainsaw and how raw and grating it is to listen to. It's like, it is like that to hear that repeatedly again and again and again. So it is an aspect of the horror movie, but it still is annoying.
Yeah.
But for something like this, I think something that works really well, we had talked about, was you could say it's a continuity error how much these demons' faces change, even in the same scene. But, like, there's just some part about it that really works for me.
Yeah.
Like the idea that these creatures are, like, constantly changing a little bit here and there is unsettling, and it's happening all the time. And I think it kind of just works for me. I can understand if somebody's being like, why does it look so different from this scene to that scene, and why does it look like an old woman here but not there? And I don't know, for some reason it just works for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to prolong what I've said already, but it's a very good film. I think it kind of like really jump started like that 80s horror vibe that honestly probably changed horror movies how we see them today. But I will plead with people that I wish we had more practical effects in movies.
Yeah.
I really do think that like movies of today could do so well. And the strategies of scare are so much different than they used to be. Now we get like a lot of long drawn out shots. Music is a big part of it. Tension building, right? And I know there's 80s movies that have that same vibe, but the practical effects, again, straight up unbeaten.
Yeah. What really works in favor of this movie is how it has this kind of amateurish vibe, and yet like the practical effects are so mature. So it is like so, like the contrast of the way that it's like sort of amateurly filmed in the way that shots are framed and the lighting. Just, I don't know, it just really works. And I don't know. I think that there's like movies like this. It's funny when you watch them because it's like it's showing you what was considered horror at the time, right? And like this is what would have passed as like extremely horrific at the time. And today, a lot of the movies now are just like these slow burn sort of movies, which they are. Like there are movies like that are scary, but it is interesting to use this as a way of like framing culturally what was scary at the time it had come out.
Yeah, at least what was like considered popular.
Yeah, or like what would have resonated with audiences at the time.
Because a movie like this, I feel like, would almost kind of be laughed at. But I will, but a bit of a little bit of a comparison, and it kind of fits the bill of like both films, was Weapons. Big spoiler, by the way. But the end, just was like so raw. It almost like it just didn't fit the movie type, but it was so. It kind of was like the cherry on top. Like, it really did push that film, like, me from being like, this was just fine, to like, this actually was like a fun.
Yeah, just like crazy.
Yeah, just like it doesn't have to take it doesn't have to be too serious,
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be so elevated.
Yeah.
To make it seem super realistic,
Yeah.
and sometimes a decision that will make the movie less realistic will make it more interesting from the cinematic perspective. Like, just to be like, yes, horror movies that tend to resonate with people as like something that could realistically happen could potentially be scarier.
I was just about to say that too.
Yeah, like, I mean, that could be scarier. Like the idea of, like strangers, like being stalked and being hunted at like a cabin is definitely more realistic than having demons sort of track you down. But like, they're just like, it tells a better cinematic experience to me to have to lean into like the things you can only do in that medium, which is like this bombastic sort of like weapons-like approach. And that, I guess that's not always true, but I feel like sometimes erring on the side of what makes for a better, more interesting cinematic experience ends up being the better payout.
Yeah.
Than just like, oh, that was real. Yeah. That felt real. So, okay.
I think now you could debate whether you call this like, is it scary? Well, like, I think it's scary. It's kind of what you feel is like, some people might find this like absolutely horrifying, and they will just, these images will be burned in their head forever. But to me, it's just like, I find it horrific, and it's like gory. It's got the great practical effects. I don't know. These kind of like zombie-esque movies never really felt scary to me.
Yeah.
But some people love that. Some people say that. Some people say like that's the worst kind. But I don't know. It's just all different.
I mean, what I think
audiences.
What I think really works. This is like it is so weird to think of this potential contrast, but like the movie is at least going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, you will maybe you'll be scared by it, or hell, maybe you'll think it's hilarious because it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
And I think the movie is going for both. Like, I think the movie is, I don't think the director, I don't think Sam Raimi, whenever he was making this, was like, this should make people only feel horrified.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's clearly, like, there's so many times where it's meant to be funny and silly and goofy, and it is so weird. It's so weird to think of a movie that will do both.
Bro, I mean, we're watching the scenes at the end, and it's like legitimately the most over-the-top thing you could ever see. And Aaron said it looked like a Tool music video, and you're like, it looks like a Tool music. It is like, for lack of a better term, like demonic. It's just like so raw, and to me, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is so good.
It's weird to think of, like, there are times, like, if you've ever, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. If you've ever played like a video game that was like so scary and that like unnerved you so bad that like you just like kind of like were laughing to yourself, like about how like
absurd.
Yeah, how absurd and how like terrified you feel. Like you're just it is so weird that there's this like fine line from a movie like this that is both horrifying and wildly just gory to like also humorous, and the next movies that they make from the Evil Dead series, they continue to lean into that. Like they continue to lean into this idea.
I think we should keep this as like a little series, because I would love to watch the next one next.
And I think that like The second one, I mean, this won't spoil anything.
Yeah.
The second one is kind of strange in that it is almost the same story from the first one, but they've retconned a bunch of stuff. It's kind of strange how the second one is told, but Army of Darkness is just
too good.
So, I mean, it is just so amazing.
Yeah.
Like I remember the back in 2020, maybe it was 2021. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember having COVID. And this was whenever, like, I was isolating myself from my family. And one of the movies I watched, because I hadn't seen it forever, was Army of Darkness. And just how amazing it was to just rewatch that.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh, it is just such a good movie.
I'm glad I can experience it for the first time.
Yeah. So these are just, they're cool movies. I haven't seen them in a while. So even though I've seen these before, it's still been a minute before I've seen them.
It's one of those where I would agree. I think it's the rewatchability is just
it's
there.
Huge, yeah.
It's so there, and you know, we talk about that too. Like, what makes it rewatchable? It's just like because it was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, like there's so many things you remember.
That. Yeah, it's got like, you know, there's parts that you could see, you could think that you didn't see before, and even like in the practical effects too. So
yeah,
very good. I loved it. I think that's incredible.
Well, check it out. If you haven't seen it, or if you've seen it and you haven't seen it in a while, go watch it again.